Let's be honest. Sometimes the villain completely steals the movie. You click this video because deep down, you know it's true. The bad guy is often more interesting than the hero. Think about it. When you watch The Dark Knight, do you walk away talking about Batman or the Joker? Or in Gladiator, Maximus is cool, but Commodus is the one you can't look away from. That's what we're diving into today. The moments where the villain outshined the very hero they were supposed to lose to. Because if we're being real, maybe we secretly love when the villain wins. And by the end of this video, you might find yourself rooting for the bad guys too. Let's get into it. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy had already given us one of the greatest villains of all time with Heath Ledger's Joker. So how do you follow that up? You bring in Tom Hardy as Bane, a hulking, mass revolutionary who breaks Batman's back and breaks Gotham down piece by piece. Now, Christian Bale is a great Batman, but in The Dark Knight Rises, Bruce spends a huge chunk of the movie sidelined, broken, and stuck in a pit. Meanwhile, Bane is running Gotham like it's his own personal playground. He's delivering monologues that are instantly iconic, he's holding stadiums hostage, and he's got that weird, muffled voice that people made fun of for years. But let's be honest, it also made him unforgettable. Bane is terrifying, theatrical, and somehow weirdly funny. When you think of Rises, you think of the plane scene. You think of,
"Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it."
Batman may have won in the end, but this was Bane's movie all the way through.
What we doing live? Echoes in eternity.
Russell Crowe as Maximus is great. He's stoic, strong, the kind of noble hero you expect in a Roman epic. But you know who steals every single scene? Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus. Commodus is one of the slimiest, most insecure, and most pathetic villains ever put to screen. And that's exactly what makes him so compelling. He's not just evil for the sake of being evil. He's desperate. He wants love. He wants approval. And he'll kill his own father and ruin an empire just to get it. Phoenix plays him with this perfect mix of vulnerability and menace. You hate Commodus, but you also get him. He's weak, but he's dangerous because of that weakness. By the end, you're rooting for Maximus to take him down. But let's be honest, who are you quoting after the movie? Not Maximus. It's Commodus and his
Am I not merciful?
Gladiator may have been sold on Maximus's revenge, but it was Commodus who made it a classic.
The revolution will be live.
Marvel movies have a bit of a villain problem. For years, people complained that MCU heroes were great, but the villains were forgettable. And then came Eric Killmonger. Michael B. Jordan turned what could have been a standard angry bad guy role into the most layered character in the entire MCU. His motivations are clear, his pain is real, and here's the kicker. He's not entirely wrong. Killmonger forces T'Challa to question Wakanda's isolationist traditions. He calls out centuries of oppression, and while his methods are brutal, his ideas hit hard. The crazy part is, actually changes Wakanda for the better. By the end, T'Challa is inspired by his enemy's vision. Chadwick Boseman was phenomenal, but in terms of sheer screen presence, Killmonger brought it. He made Black Panther not just another Marvel movie, but one of the MCU's most powerful stories.
My hands, to be exact. Oh, yes.
Quentin Tarantino knows how to write a memorable villain, and Christopher Waltz's Colonel Hans Landa is one of the best. Nicknamed
Precisely.
Landa is equal parts charming, terrifying, and darkly funny. The opening farmhouse scene is one of the greatest character introductions of all time. Landa walks in, polite as can be, asking for a glass of milk, chatting like an old friend, and within minutes, he's psychologically broken down the farmer hiding Jewish refugees under the floorboards. Brad Pitt's Lieutenant Aldo Rain is fun, but let's be real. When people walked out of this movie, they were talking about Waltz. He even won an Oscar for it. Landa is manipulative, unpredictable, and completely steals the film. Without him, Inglourious Basterds would be just another pulpy revenge fantasy. With him, it becomes a masterpiece.
You don't know what your actions would unleash.
When Marvel first launched Thor, Chris Hemsworth's God of Thunder was fine. But he was a bit stiff, a bit generic, and let's be honest, the eyebrows were way too bleached. But Tom Hiddleston's Loki, instant star. Loki is the classic sibling rivalry turned up to 11. He's jealous, cunning, and constantly switching between vulnerability and scheming. What makes him so great is that he's not just evil. He genuinely feels hurt, betrayed, and overlooked. And Hiddleston sells every bit of it. By the time the movie ended, people weren't talking about Thor's hammer. They were talking about Loki's smirk. He was so good, Marvel basically turned him into an anti-hero, gave him multiple comebacks, and eventually his own Disney Plus show. Thor may have been the lead, but Loki was the one everyone wanted more of.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This time, he's back. For good.
Trust me.
Arnold Schwarzenegger may be the face of the Terminator franchise, but in T2, it was Robert Patrick's T-1000 that really blew audiences away. The liquid metal assassin was unlike anything people had seen before. Cold, relentless, and with special effects that were decades ahead of their time. The T-1000 turned what could have been a simple sequel into one of the greatest action movies ever made. Sure, Arnold's reprogrammed T-800 had some great moments.
Hasta la vista, baby.
But the T-1000 was the real nightmare fuel. He was unstoppable, emotionless, and always 2 steps ahead. It's rare for a sequel to create a villain that actually surpasses the original, but the T-1000 did it. He's the reason T2 is still considered the benchmark for sci-fi action.
Thank you, Clary. Thank you.
Anthony Hopkins had less than 20 minutes of screen time in Silence of the Lambs. Less than 20 minutes. And yet, he completely dominated the movie. Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling is excellent, don't get me wrong. But when people talk about this film, they're not quoting Clarice. They're quoting Hannibal Lecter.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Lecter is terrifying because he's so calm, so intelligent, and so disturbingly charming. He doesn't just scare you, he fascinates you. He's the villain you can't look away from, even when he's describing eating someone's liver. It's no wonder Hopkins won an Oscar. Without Lecter, Silence of the Lambs would still be a solid thriller, but with him, it became an all-time classic. No surprise here. Heath Ledger's Joker is arguably the greatest villain in movie history. Christian Bale's Batman is solid. He's brooding, serious, and carries the story. But the moment the Joker walks in, the entire movie shifts. Every scene he's in feels dangerous, unpredictable, and alive. Ledger transformed the Joker from a cartoonish prankster into a chilling force of chaos. He wasn't just evil, he was philosophy in motion. He challenged Gotham, he challenged Batman, and he even challenged the audience's sense of morality. When people talk about The Dark Knight, they don't say, man, remember when Batman did this? They say,
Why so serious?
They talk about the pencil trick. They talk about the hospital scene. They talk about the Joker. Batman may have been the hero, but the Joker owned the movie.
The Force will be with you.
Luke Skywalker is a great hero, but let's be real. When Star Wars first hit theaters in 1977, the character everyone remembered wasn't Luke, Leia, or even Han. It was Darth freaking Vader. From the moment he steps onto the rebel ship in the opening scene, clad in black armor, breathing like a nightmare, Vader instantly became iconic. James Earl Jones' booming voice, David Prowse's imposing physical presence. Together, they created one of the most intimidating villains in film history. Luke grows into his role over time, but Vader was already fully formed. He didn't just steal A New Hope, he became the face of the entire franchise. Even now, decades later, Vader is still the ultimate cinematic villain.
Things change.
Yes, we're ending with Danny DeVito's Penguin, because if there's ever been a movie completely hijacked by a villain, it's Batman Returns. Michael Keaton's Batman is great, but he takes a backseat for most of the movie. Meanwhile, Danny DeVito is crawling out of sewers, biting people's noses, delivering grotesque speeches, and turning what could have been a silly character into something unforgettable. The Penguin is disgusting, tragic, and bizarrely funny. DeVito went all in on the performance, and it paid off. He's the reason Batman Returns is still talked about today. Tim Burton basically made the movie around the villains, and it shows. Catwoman's amazing too, but Penguin is the one that overshadows everyone, including Batman himself. It's one of the clearest examples of a villain being way, way better than the hero. So there you have it. 10 times the villain was better than the hero. What's interesting is that in most of these cases, the heroes weren't even bad. They did their job, but the villains, they were on another level. They had the lines, the charisma, and the style. They gave us something to talk about long after the credits rolled. And maybe that's the real takeaway. A great villain doesn't just challenge the hero. They elevate the entire story. But what do you think? Did we miss a villain that totally stole the spotlight? Drop your favorites in the comments, because I know there are plenty more. And if you enjoyed this list, Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.